Hey, if y'all are new here, you know that scripted content usually isn't my thing, but recently I've been wanting to flex my engineering, wannabe physics, college education, which is why I'm not gonna ask you to like or subscribe or anything, but only to comment to let me know how I did and how I can improve. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. For those of you who are new to the game or have never heard of air in Minecraft, the wiki describes air as an invisible block used to define empty space where any other block could otherwise exist. It cannot be obtained in survival Minecraft, and was only added as an obtainable item in creative using the /give command in 1.7.2. It can be created and destroyed by placing or removing blocks in its place, and its only known usage is to give the player air when they come out of water. So that's it, right? It's just a workaround so the developers could tell when a player or mob went to or came out of the water? Well, I wouldn't be too sure about that. Now just humor me real quick. Close your eyes. When you think of air in real life, what comes to mind? Maybe it's what you're breathing right now. Maybe it's what you feel when you roll down the windows on your car. Or possibly it's the fact that you're now breathing manually because I mentioned it. But that's besides the point. In real life, air has a physical effect on us. We can feel it. We use it to constantly keep these electric-powered meat bags alive. Minecraft, on the other hand, only seems to use it as a way for the game to tell if you're in water, like most other games involving this mechanic. But if that were truly the case, why have air in the first place? A simple, if in water, then start to drown statement would have sufficed. Why go through the extra trouble of coding in air blocks? Maybe, just maybe, it's because breathing isn't its only function? Now, unfortunately, technology hasn't progressed to the point where we can feel air, or really a lot of things in-game. But we are able to tell its effect in-game, and it's every physics student's nightmare: drag. Now, we aren't able to tell its pressure, temperature, or volume per cubic meter, but we can calculate if it has any sort of drag. Now we should all know the experiment on the moon, where the astronaut drops a tool and a feather at the same time, and they land at the same time. That's because the atmosphere on the moon is almost 40 trillion times less than Earth's, meaning it's basically zero, and also meaning there's no air drag on the two objects. To calculate drag, we gotta know two equations. The first one, if you've taken any physics course, is the force equals mass times acceleration, which we can arrange into acceleration equals force divided by mass. And the second one, not so easy, is the drag force is going to equal the coefficient of drag times the density of the fluid it goes through times the velocity squared times the cross-sectional area, all divided by 2. To solve for the net force, we can just use force equals weight minus drag, because if drag was bigger than weight, then you would be flying right now. And we can use that equation to figure out the acceleration, which is weight minus drag all divided by mass. Now we have the equations, but we're missing a few things. We don't have the exact coefficient of drag, we don't know the density of the air on the planet, and we don't know Steve's mass. Oh, it's about 416.41 kilograms? My man Steve's been on roids since he got in Smash. Anyways, the last thing we're missing is gravity to fully calculate his weight. Normally we would calculate this by using Newton's laws of gravitation, but even approximating its mass with its relative size of 60,000 by 60,000 kilometers, and we're just gonna go with 60 meters deep because of sea level, just to, average out, with an average density of stone being 2,002 kilograms per meters cubed, we get a gravity of 8.02 megameters per second squared. That is essentially an 8 with 6 zeros in front of it. Now for comparison, by the way, the black hole at the center of our galaxy is 3.54 megameters per second squared, which means the Minecraft world would have approximately 2.265 times more gravity than a supermassive black hole. Now obviously, you are not a soup of neutrons as soon as you boot up the world, and that is most likely because the world is flat and not spherical. Luckily, Minecraft's gravity has been calculated many times over by others, and it comes out to about 2 times Earth gravity, or 19.6 meters per second squared, which is a lot more reasonable. Now, if we are to assume the coefficient of drag is basically a rectangle, and the density of air is the same as Earth's, then we get an acceleration of 19.4 meters per second squared. A slight decrease! Now, of course, this is all theoretical at this point. We haven't actually tested anything, and there is no way to remove air in the Minecraft world. Or is there? No, we actually can't. The only way to remove it is to place blocks, and then you can't fall through the blocks unless you're in spectator, but you're not falling, you're just shifting through the floor. While we can't remove the air, what we can do is test certain scenarios in the game. First off, we know there is some form of drag encoded because it happens in water and lava. When you go in water and lava, you slow down. There is drag on you. We just need to see if there's drag in air. And if we do the same drop test as the astronauts did, we will see a difference in drop speed. Even confirming the drop speed of me versus a mushroom cow, it shows the mushroom cow dropping faster, which makes sense. Even though its cross-sectional area is bigger, it has a bigger volume to fit more of that sweet meat in it. Well, case closed, right? There's air drag in Minecraft. Play the outro! Is what I would say if it were really that easy. Further testing showed that the drag was shoddy at best, with the most glaring issue being the iron golem. We wouldn't even have to take its cross-sectional area seriously, because the golem's mass would be 31,496 kilograms. That would be like having the mass of 24 Honda Civics crushed into the relative size of 2 people. And yet we land at the same time. Well, where does that leave us? If there is drag, it's inconsistent across the board. What can we gain from this knowledge? Well, it seems to me the developers included air as a type of user-friendly null block, a way of tying things like lighting and particle effects to cave air and void air for the Java edition. And the quirky different falling speed is most likely the result of developers manually assigning fall speeds to different entities and items, because calculating fluid mechanics of air in real time would probably be too cumbersome for Minecraft. In the end, air really did seem to be a developer workaround. But hey, we solved it with science! And who knows, with 1.17 around the corner, they might incorporate a better use for the cave and void air. But until then, my deluded denizens, don't slap a cow? I don't know.